Hey guys, what's going on? It's Rekt Capital and welcome back to the channel. Is Bitcoin forming a massive bullish divergence? Subscribe to the channel for more videos like this in the future and let's dive right in. For the time being, here on the daily time frame, Bitcoin is forming a downtrending wedging structure and it's faked out. Beyond it, it's performed a fake breakout beyond this structure once before, and now we're actually consolidating inside a pennant-like formation, this orange pattern over here. We're consolidating inside this small structure, which is effectively pennant-like consolidation at the highs of this overall downtrending diagonal resistance. So consolidation in here has actually enabled some altcoin movements, but we're still coiling in towards the apex of the structure, and price compression will be caused by these two trend lines, and price compression precedes volatility. So a volatile move is going to come for Bitcoin in the next few days, and it's probably going to disrupt a lot of the gains that altcoins have made, because this consolidation is actually facilitating altcoin movements, but altcoins aren't going to keep up if Bitcoin breaks out strongly towards the upside or towards the downside. And in fact, Wyckoff accumulation is suggesting to us that this move is going to break out towards the upside. So altcoins won't be able to keep up necessarily with Bitcoin in that regard. But that's the daily time frame. Let's focus on the weekly time frame, where we're just still consolidating on the macro scale between the range of 29,000 to 39,000. So it's a $10,000 range for Bitcoin, just consolidating, maintaining this weekly support for 8 weeks now. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. 8 weeks now. And we've just been oscillating around this support, sometimes wicking towards the downside below it, sometimes maintaining above it and actually performing upside wicks above that weekly support, but nonetheless still just consolidating, meandering in and out throughout this support like in a sinusoidal fashion. And the higher low is probably a great indicator of what I mean by that, because the weekly higher low, which is a higher low that has spanned the entire year, really the entirety of 2021, this higher low is still maintaining itself. It's still intact. It's actually a confluent demand area with the 50-week exponential moving average, and we just see price action wicking towards the downside below these two key levels, the higher low and the 50-week EMA, wicking down below it, but ultimately weekly closing above this confluent demand area. And as long as we hold here, then Bitcoin is going to remain bullish, and we're just going to see downside wicking into those lower areas. But nonetheless, if you think about this, we've seen a low here, a higher low here, and yet another higher low here. So not only are we seeing a 2021 higher low actually encompassing the entire year, we're also seeing a 3-week higher low form here as well. And as long as Bitcoin continues to consolidate at these regions and still cool down on the indicators, then we could actually see a bullish divergence, a higher time frame bullish divergence take place, because in the previous video I spoke about how this daily MACD is actually anomalous. We've never seen such a downside deviation from the 0 point from the MACD. So effectively, whenever we're in a bull run, we see deviations towards the upside in the MACD, and whenever we see corrections, we see downside deviations. And you can see how extreme this one is compared to this one, for instance, or this one. So overall, we've never seen such a downside deviation before. It is quite extreme. And by the same token, if we see such extreme downside deviation in the MACD, then we'll see that also translate to the weekly time frame. But when I first spoke about the MACD in a previous video, this weekly MACD was around this point. These two moving averages were still far apart, and we were just seeing some sort of, we were seeing potential curling up in the divergence, in the histograms, but we still weren't quite set. But since that time, we've seen consolidation, maintaining of these current price levels, price strength confirmation, and since that time, we've seen some really positive developments for the MACD. Of course, the MACD moving averages are still diverging potentially going to start converging in the next weeks. We can't really say that with certainty at the moment, but nonetheless, we're already seeing bullish divergence in the histograms nonetheless, which is very positive because we've seen such tremendous downside deviation in the MACD histograms, but now we seem to be curling up here, which is really positive, representing a bullish divergence here on the histograms. But we haven't seen these two moving averages cross over yet. And once we see this bullish divergence continue to persist, then these moving averages are actually going to continue converging, and we might get a crossover perhaps below the zero line at this current rate. So we could see a crossover over here, for instance. But if the actual bullish momentum increases and Bitcoin breaks out towards the upside, then we might actually see this faster EMA curl up a little bit quicker and actually cross over much sooner. But nonetheless, these bullish divergences on the histogram are showcasing to us early signs of bullish momentum that aren't necessarily showing up in price action, because remember, Bitcoin is still just consolidating, just moving sideways. But once we get this MACD crossover later on, that will confirm the bullish divergence, that will confirm the bullish momentum, and we'll probably see that react in price action in a very positive way. So at the moment, great bullish divergence here on the histogram, quite positive. And as long as Bitcoin's price action continues to maintain here, and we'll see this cooling down in the MACD, because after this uptrend, you can see how much we've deviated towards the upside from the MACD 0 point. Such a upside deviation needs a period of cooling down, and of course a correction accelerates that cool down period. But what can also help cooling down in the price action and as well across different indicators such as the MACD or the RSI, consolidation is perfect for that as well, because we don't have to actually see downside in the price, but actually we're still seeing cooling down across valuable indicators, and that's what we're seeing at the moment. And as long as this continues, this positive bullish divergence could truly translate into something quite cool for Bitcoin's price action. In any case, guys, that's about it for today's video update. Thank you so much for watching today. Subscribe to the channel for more videos like this in the future, and of course like the video if you enjoyed the content today. I'm Rekt Capital, and I'll speak to you in the next one. Speak to you soon.